Well, it's good afternoon, everyone. My name's David, and I will be moderating this AMA. I'm speaking down from Australia, so I really appreciate everyone joining in from different parts of the world. I know that the times in Australia can be a bit difficult at times, so I appreciate you all showing up. Um, Very excited to have this sort of first AMA for 2022, actually. A lot has happened with Drift over the past 20 days since the new year, which we're very excited to give an overview around. Additionally, I think probably the most exciting thing is, I guess, the status update on just, new team members as well, who I will, shamelessly rather, bring up on stage and embarrass them and give them a few moments in the spotlight. Very excited to share with you who they are. And following that, we'll walk through the various work streams, so product, research, engineering, and community. And then finally, to wrap things up, giving all of you an opportunity to ask us any questions that you have on your mind. So I guess without further ado, um, I might just start on the new team members, actually. That's probably the most exciting thing out. This team member already sort of did a little bit of a sentimental post yesterday, but Damien, or maybe aka Charlie to listeners who know him under his alternate alias, floor is yours.
Thanks, David. Can you guys hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, so great to meet everyone. It's great to come out of the metaphorical anon closet as well. So last night I got to dox myself, got to join on board of the Drift team formally, especially on crypto Twitter, so I'm very, very excited. My background's in corporate law. I practiced for about a year and a half, specializing in public M&A transactions and also in blockchain regulatory environments across Asia and Asia Pacific. Um, it was a really fun time for me, but this opportunity presented itself, and like in my very, very sentimental post yesterday, I'm a big fan of both Cindy and David, so I'm very, very excited to be on board.
It's our pleasure to have you. Honestly, couldn't be more excited. Next up, Nick, do you want to go next?
Just gonna say, I don't know.
Hey, I'm I'm Nick. I'm a developer. I joined the team back in the December after a trial run, and I'm super excited to be working with Chris and Z and Luke and David and Cindy are great, and George and everyone does great with the community stuff. So I'm really happy to be part of it.
No, super excited. We'll let you all dive into some of the stuff you guys are working on in a moment. But and last but not least, obviously, Jono, do you want to go next?
Yeah, g'day guys. Thanks for the docs, David. um, no, but hey guys, my name's Jono. So you guys might know me as Ducky. So unlike Damo that fully docs himself yesterday with a photo of himself, I don't think anyone here really wants to see a photo of me, so won't be going that far. I don't know what the opposite of a simp is, but I probably have a few of those. um, but yeah, so I've been helping out Drift in ad hoc manner over the past couple of months. Firstly with the Alpha Ticket program, and then more recently on the Drip Bounty program. So I'm Sydney based alongside David, Damo, and Blake, and by trade I'm a chartered accountant. Got about 6 years experience in financial services, and my last day of full time work in a regular job is tomorrow. So I'm super excited to be joining the team in an operations role from next week. So yeah, thanks. Back to you, David.
Easy. As you all probably noticed, it's like sort of a big gathering of like Australian accents. So if anyone hears from down under, please don't hesitate to reach out. We could always do it with more Aussies. DMs are obviously very open. I guess team is scaling rapidly alongside our progress. I think the biggest milestone for us was celebrating $1 billion total volume within our first 39 days of trading, which is super exciting. And on that day, I think we did just over 110 just daily volume, which is a huge milestone for us. And I think this comes at a sort of wonderful time when we have Damien, Jono, and Nick come on board to really supercharge things on business development, operations, and engineering, respectively. So I think throughout this call, we'll give everyone a chance to talk about some of the things they've been working on, uh, and give you guys some better insights as to what's under the hood. I guess without further ado, I will let Cindy take over product to share some of what's happening around new product lines, development, as well as features that have recently gone live. So, Cindy, over to you.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, boss, we can.
Perfect. No bosses in this company, or protocol. I mean, so we've been pretty busy, focusing on making the trading experience much smoother for users and focusing on features that people have been asking for. So if you saw last night, we just shipped out a portfolio page, which is pretty exciting. You can now see your portfolio value, P&L, and toggle between different time frames. So that's super fun. And you can also see your deposit history going out. We know that this has been a pretty big feature that people have been asking for. So a bunch of people can now screenshot your P&L and then post it up. It's pretty fun, and focusing on also getting funding rates communicated to the public better. So people have been asking a lot on how historical funding looks, so you can start back testing funding rate history strategies, and yeah, been working on other things like getting our leaderboard up and starting to design different types of referral programs as well. So yeah, our focus has been really after really making the trading experience better on the UI, and the other thing is also making sure mobile looks better. So we just listed a mobile bounty for people to start working on the mobile interface. We know that you guys like getting your trading outside as well. So yeah, big thing for us is also starting to ship out mobile. So yeah, that's pretty much the goal for us at this stage. Just trying to get the UI to the best state possible for users and focus on a ton of user feedback.
Awesome to hear. I don't believe we have Luke on the line. I think he might be slightly under the weather, but Luke is our front-end engineer who is probably religiously glued to Canny, which is our feedback board. But Cindy, I mean, in Luke's absence, do you want to talk quickly about some of the feedback that we've gotten and I guess some of the key things that we've been sort of working on to really meet some of those customer requests, I suppose?
Yeah, maybe Jono can talk about this actually. He's been looking really closely at the Canny board.
Yep, Jono, over to you.
Yeah, sure. So you might have realized that we've currently got we had over 1,000 kind of product feedback comments from you guys over the past couple of months, and yeah, we've been actively working on just merging these down and just incorporating your feedback into the product. So some of the big ones that you guys have really requested are kind of like limit orders and also the portfolio tab, and probably Cindy, you might be better to comment on the limit orders, but yeah, we're actively monitoring those and trying to respond to your feedback in a timely manner. So yeah, keep that feedback coming through, and also appreciate all the compliments that you guys are sending through that platform. Those are really warming to hear and listen to.
Yeah. In terms of limit orders, it's a big shift that we're working towards as well. Won't spoil it too much as we've got a reveal coming soon. But yes, we're working on it and it is coming.
Great. I think this is sort of a great segue for engineering, I think, to take the spotlight. I think limit orders has been probably the most highly requested feature alongside cross collateral. And I guess, Chris, without spoiling too much, I mean, would love to hear from you, sort of how just share a bit about how we're thinking about it, and even I think unpack some of the intricacies that happen behind the scenes. I mean, some of the thought processes that I guess we have to consider when designing a major overhaul like this.
Yep. Hey guys. So we're currently building out limit orders, but it's on top of a virtual AMM, so there's still no order book. So I guess before I go into how it works, let's take a step back. Currently, we have the first version of the smart contract for limits orders complete, and now we're working on wiring it up to a UI and having it work end to end on DevNet. And so we're pretty close to that. And once that end to end version is put together, we'll probably share a link to start testing it out on DevNet in our Discord. So if you're really interested in Hype Down limit orders, you can come into our Discord and get early access and provide feedback and help find bugs. And so, yeah, we'll be supporting limit orders, stops, and stop limits. And yeah, I guess to maybe wax too technical, but there will be no order book because we're using a virtual AMM. And so how it'll actually work is users will basically place orders on the blockchain, but there won't be a centralized data structure on chain. Instead, keepers will monitor the different orders that users have requested, and then they'll also monitor the price of the virtual AMM. And if they can fill the order against the virtual AMM, they'll do so and receive a part of the fee for actually filling the order. And so how this kind of works in practice is keepers build an order book like data structure off chain and just compete as fast as possible to fill the orders. And so that's kind of all built out right now. We're just, putting all the last pieces together, making sure it works. And so, yeah, we're super excited about this. Think it'll add a lot of liquidity and make a much better user experience. And also then no one can say when limit order in the Discord anymore. So I'm sure there'll be a new big feature requested. But yeah, we're super excited.
I think one of the other most common piece of feedback from kind of the last quarter, but not so much recently, also is kind of people asking for the platform in general to just be a bit faster, and getting newer feedback from users this year that they've seen a large improvement in the general speed of the platform. So, Chris, could you maybe also just touch on what the team has been doing to kind of speed up all the transactions and just the general interface?
Yeah, we could talk about that. Right now, it's trying to optimize the history, which is stored off chain. So we've already started doing that a little bit. But once the limit orders are complete, we're going to do another sprint, basically just focused on performance. So that's one, scaling reads for the history, which is like the candles and recent trades and whatnot. Two, we're going to try to start caching the UI closer to users. So right now we're not caching on the edge using CDNs. So we're going to look into that. And then three is we're using WebSockets with the RPC nodes, which some people FUD as being slow. So we're going to look into how we can use polling potentially to be faster. And across all those things, it should make the site even more responsive. So yeah, pretty excited to get done with limit orders so we can make the site as fast as possible because trading should feel like you're driving like a sports car. So we want it to be fast and performant.
Speaking of analogies, this is probably the best segue for Z, who is sort of our resident gigabrain, head of research and trading. I think a lot. Z, I'm definitely throwing you under the bus, but a lot of how Z explains concepts to us is sort of in the form of wonderful analogies. So, alongside this massive growth in volume, new markets being listed pretty much every week. In terms of, I guess, the way we think about it internally, it's almost like a flavor of the week. And I think just even today, DOT was just listed. It's the first DOT perp on Solana as well. So we're really trying to stay at the forefront of this. But as we sort of dive into some of the drivers behind our volume growth, which I know was a frequent question asked on the likes of Discord, Z, would love to hear from you around how we're thinking about new markets alongside, I guess, the increases in K, which is something I think some of our listeners definitely have been definitely be curious to understand a bit better, as K does dictate liquidity and slippage on a platform that uses the AMM. So Z, without further ado, over to you.
Thanks, David. That was a great segue. And it's true, I do use analogies all the time to try to make sure like we're all on the same page with how the dynamic AMM is working. So since the beginning of Drift, like if you compared like our first market was just Sol and the liquidity was quite low, the liquidity has improved a lot in that market. And honestly, it's really just the beginning for liquidity improvements. I guess where my research is focused is making this virtual dynamic AMM scale and grow like in a responsible way where it can actually handle a lot of market scenarios. So there's definitely like a careful way that we can change the AMM parameters, and that's where our focus has really been, just making sure all of our markets are as responsive as possible and have the lowest slippage that can actually be accommodated by the demand for trading. So yeah, we've been able to list a lot of markets. We've been able to grow those markets as we've seen people with every new market. We've noticed people are getting onboarded faster, and there's a lot of demand and trust kind of in our parameter selection. So I applaud the traders for that. Yeah, and then from there, we're actually working on a formulaic, like deterministic way that these parameters update. So that's where a lot of my research has been focused. Yeah. The second, if I'm just going to keep talking, the second piece of big work that we've done on the research side is releasing a lot of historical data on Drift. And we've done this by stitching together a lot of the decentralized flat file history that's on GitHub. And definitely just like reaching out to anyone wants to analyze the data and see for themselves how stable and healthy our markets are. So I encourage any data scientists to just read the CSV and just try to learn a little bit about how these virtual AMMs look just by looking at the data, and then reading our docs, which go in detail on the technical side.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Z. And I guess to add on, we have weekly office research hours hosted by Z and Cindy, respectively. It's on our Discord, and during each of these calls, we dive quite deeply into some of the intricacies around the dam, how it can involve. So this is sort of a weekly thing that initially started as just, I think, ourselves and 3 core researchers, and it's sort of grown quite rapidly. So definitely check that out. It should be on our community calendar, which I believe we're releasing every month now. So I think, George, to wrap up, obviously, community's been pumping quite a lot. I think in response to that, we've been rolling out a bunch of very exciting initiatives, which I'll let you take the handle on. So over to you to discuss what some of those look like.
Yeah, thanks for that. So we've got a couple of new initiatives. So you've seen our bounties, which Damo and Jono are working on. We've also released a new program on our Discord, if you haven't seen yet. So you can earn points to earn cash prizes at the end of the week. So every week you'll submit meme content. So we're piloting with memes at the moment, and yeah, we really want to encourage people to make content, and then we also think that you should be rewarded for that. So come on Discord and share your memes and share your posts, and we just we'll give these points away, and then every week we'll give you some USDC. And yeah, the office hours is also very informative, so come in there as well. We'll try recording them in the future, so we'll also be uploading more on our YouTube channel, which has our first video for the for our trading introduction into candles. So if you're interested in trading, check out our YouTube as well.
Great, thanks, George. And Damo, just to wrap up everything, I know that we've got a bounty program that we're running in conjunction with Solana Foundation. I've got a bunch of really interesting submissions. Anything you want to shout out in particular, as well as any comments you want to make as we come to the conclusion of that program?
Yeah, definitely. So our bounty program is essentially just an initiative to really further Drift's ecosystem. I think, especially for Q1 and going into Q2 and the remainder of 2022, a big priority for us is to grow the community and to, I guess, decentralize as many aspects of Drift as we can. And as part of that is doing these cash incentives for people to help us build out aspects of Drift that we really want to see. In terms of the bounty program, I think we've had quite a few submissions for translations. So thank you everyone if you've helped contributed to that. Aside from that, we're really pushing for video content, thread content, research articles. So if anyone here has any experience with any of that, or if you're interested in helping Drift out, send me a DM, visit our Discord, check out our list of bounties. Beyond that, I think we also have, we're also hiring for quite a few positions. So within our Discord, we have a specific channel for, I think it's a job listing channel. So just go on there. If you're looking for a new role, if there's anything that you think that you can help contribute to, just take a look through there. Aside from that, I think that's pretty much it. We're also coming off the public calendar for all public-facing Drift events, so everyone can just subscribe to the calendar and see everything that we have coming up. And the last initiative we have is Drift Education. So each week we're collaborating with a well-known crypto Twitter account called OX Nemissa, and in conjunction with him, we're launching trading analysis, video content, and Substack content on all things related to trading on Drift. So be sure to check that out, guys.
Great. So we've sort of condensed almost over a month's worth of work into a mere sort of 30 minutes. So I'm sure that with this, there's a lot that the community likely has that they want to ask. So I think at this point, we'll turn it over to the audience to put your hand up, ask any questions that you might have on your mind. So I believe the feature is simply just request to be a speaker. I'll bring up you onto stage and feel free to ask away. And you can direct questions at anyone in the team, so it doesn't have to be towards me. So without further ado, audience, the floor is all yours, I guess. And as always, I think no one wants to go first in all these in all these AMAs. It's always like, who's going to move? Is that going to be me? So I guess if no one wants to sort of take the leap of faith, let me just quickly scroll through. I think we typically get questions in our Discord as well, so I might use this opportunity to pull something up, unless anyone wants to jump in at this stage. But one thing that we frequently have gotten that I'm not sure if we talked about on this particular on the current agenda is cross collateral, and I guess the relevance of cross collateral. So I know Cindy and Z, this is probably in your wheelhouse, but love to hear your thoughts and comments around how we think about approaching cross collateral, as it is pretty critical to the trading experience for a lot of users.
Yeah, I can kick it off. With cross collateral, we're probably looking at thinking about it after limit orders. So yeah, definitely I want to get limit orders out and up in the world before looking at cross collateral. But one way we're thinking about implementing cross collateral is effectively having an internal borrow lending market where you can deposit SOL, and then there's a pool of USDC that can be lent to you when you deposit your SOL, and then the price or the rates that you pay that you pay are based on the rates in the internal pool, and the utilization rates there. So it looks like a healthy borrow lending market, which means that you can also earn yield on your deposits. So it kind of checks off both cross collateral as well as yield on deposits at the same time. But yeah, we're probably looking at probably early next quarter for something like this, but nothing really definite. Sometime in the first half of this year. And Z, feel free to jump in too.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that we want to build on top of our core product. Honestly, the way that I think about it is we built the hardest thing first. So, and if you guys, either if you guys are looking to work with a project or know a really strong engineer, Drift has applications open for those people, and we think that we're at a place where we can rapidly expand. So I would just encourage applicants to talk to Chris for engineering roles so we can ship faster.
Is if you want a smart contract feature built, recommend us a smart contract engineer. This is the TLDR, I guess. There.
Yeah, we've got our open positions up on the website. They're also listed on the Solana jobs board as well as Angel list. So if you want to see what we're hiring for and just a more detailed description of the roles, feel free to check out those places. Just touching on the drip bounties as well. So I think overall we've had about 90 expressions of interest to build various items out on our protocol, and we've had about 40 submissions so far. So just want to continue to encourage those to come in. Just a shout out to anyone that has already submitted a bounty. In particular, those that have gone through and translated, I think, about 70 pages of our kind of research documentation on our website into various languages. I understand that we've taken a long time, so just shout out to those guys.
Yes, to this Turkish hero who translated 67 or 69 pages worth of content, you are really a true trooper here. Like, so if anyone, and this is, I think, a public request for help, in that if anyone here in listening has fluency in Turkish, please reach out, because we really want to do this person justice, given how much work he or she put into this piece of bounties. So this is sort of just a request from the bounty side. I'd love to get the support on that end. I guess on smart contract side, I know that this is sort of the wonderful rocket ship phase. You also get to work with Chris, which is not so bad as well. I think if Luke was here, he'd probably be all over it. But a lot of how you can get involved, even if it's just not necessarily on, I guess, a super full-time type basis, is just hop in Discord. We have, I think, a very active contributor community that is really just building bots. So I think that even the Drift bot, which I need to shout out, built by one of our members, the one that pushes funding rate, I think total collateral, open interest stats, is all done by a community member, which is, I think, just some of the small things that you guys can definitely get your hands dirty on to the developers listening here. Other than that, what other are there any other dev initiatives you want to highlight, Chris, while we've got you here? I also need to publicly embarrass him. It's his birthday today, so I think he needs to bump off in 7 minutes. So I need to spend this time wisely to harass him a little bit. So, Chris, anything else you want to say around working at engineering with Rift?
Yeah, I mean, the smart contract is open source. And so if you want to take a stab at adding features, I can give you different features that you could try to add. Cross collateral is probably one of the trickier ones. Adding support for a switchboard or other oracles is probably more straightforward. I'm sure Z can come up with a bunch of random features. And then I guess coming up is once the limit orders are open, we're going to need more keepers for running and executing limit orders. If your bots are particularly fast, you can make money filling the orders. So that'll be a cool thing. Yeah, we get the most engagement over the liquidator bots because it's like a game for people to make money. So we're expecting a similar dynamic for the keepers for the limit orders. Yeah, you could just come and hang out in the dev chat and talk about random Solana things too. So I think that's kind of it for now.
It's definitely a lot more exciting than that, but I won't spoil the surprise. Another frequent thing that I guess I've noticed is everyone obviously wants more leverage, and I think right now on our platform that's 5x, and there's definitely been many requests to up that. So I might even just turn this to open discussion. I know we just talk about this internally a lot. I guess at this point in time, folks, feel free to just put up your hand to ask whatever tickles your fancy. I think usually with this, when everyone's being sort of when everyone's being a little bit silent, giving us a silent treatment, we typically just talk about things that we're working on, and we take these AMAs as if like we're just jamming internally. So I guess around like leverage, I know Cindy, you and Z talk about this a lot. What do we do? What do we need to really level up on that front? I think leverage really is a function of liquidity as well, if I'm not mistaken. So feel free to jump in. I mean, you guys are experts, unlike me, in this field.
I think the main issue with leverage, offering really high leverage right now, is we've been wanting to focus on price stability in the platform. So if you can see on the platform, funding rates have steadily gone down as well, as the markets have gotten more efficient and arbitrageurs have stepped in to reduce the impact of high funding rates, which is great, which is what it's supposed to do. And that's like one element of price stability. The other is in smaller movements. So whenever there's like big market crashes, we want to make sure the platform is stable as well, and that we don't see any huge cascades. And leverage is a direct function of that. And so we've been thinking a lot about how we can improve the liquidation system to make sure that leverage can be handled well by the platform without causing any price instability. And that's been, I guess, the main focus on the optimization side. Things like making sure that maybe liquidators don't have to sell positions in the open market, or improving the margining system, for instance. I can let Z dive into more details about this. So we literally just talked about this. But that's kind of like the biggest.
This is what we talk about all the time
leverage
when we're not working,
which we know that people want.
I think y'all talk about it like dinner and stuff like that too. So I mean, sorry, we do have separate lives to work, guys. I mean, we're not that degen. I mean, maybe we are, but this is the kind of like chit chat that we have on a regular basis. Sorry, Z, I cut you off. Chris.
Yeah, just I guess thinking about leverage. I mean, just to me, like 5x leverage in crypto, I know it doesn't seem high for everybody else, but it does seem high to me, like if you don't want to get liquidated. But obviously people want to trade with more leverage. So it's kind of all connected to the novel mechanism that we built, right? This dynamic virtual AMM. We're just trying to improve the virtual AMM to be like a first class market. And before we are really we've erred on the conservative side, honestly, for a lot of this parameter selection in order to focus on price stability and giving people a lot of confidence before we have stops and take profit, right? So we wanted to give people an experience where they couldn't mistakenly do something, really, really dangerous. So we just kind of put a lot of guardrails and like low leverage protection for that. And like Cindy said, once we design like a stronger margining system and a better liquidation system, we could definitely increase the leverage. And with increased leverage, we'll have more confidence to also list markets that are even less stable than the L1 coins that you see right now. So really excited.
You want to give examples of how you make the liquidation and margin system better?
Sure. So right now we have all of our markets have the same margin requirements. And it's definitely, if you're trading Doge, like you could maybe restrict the leverage versus say Bitcoin, right? So we just need to build a margining system that it's more risk-based rather than rules-based. So that's kind of number one for margining. And then number two for liquidations at a high level, we don't want to like have the liquidator just do a market sell on the open market. Typically, other platforms have the liquidator take over the position and or like bid for a portion of the position that's being liquidated at a discount. So that's another idea we want to explore as well.
Yeah, I think our de facto strategy on dev and product is to get a simple version and naive version of something working end to end, and then do it in a risk averse way, and then slowly make optimizations based on like customer feedback or user feedback, community feedback, whatever you want to call it. Just so we don't like building a whole system takes a lot of time. So if you prematurely optimize, you could waste time going in the wrong direction. And so, like, yeah, we started with just market orders, and then everyone wants limits. So then we do that, and then more leverage. We can then make our leverage system, our margining system, more refined. So it's not all 5x. Like, we can make it more granular. So yeah, definitely grateful for the first set of users who use the simplest version of the product, and then are excited enough to keep using it as it gets more intricate over time.
Well said.
If you want a good book on engineering, the art of Unix programming goes into is like a nice has a lot of aphorisms about how to build complex systems over time. So definitely has inspired me in how to think about engineering.
Cool. Cindy, do you want to jump in at all? Cindy, you there? I think her voice may have cut out. One thing I do want to quickly shout out as well, and this is probably a slight tangent to the deep dive we're just doing there. And I do this now because I'm going to forget if I don't. But around community managers, we're slowly expanding towards region-specific growth. So in particular, targeting the likes of Korea, China, and Vietnam finally. If so, definitely giving these markets a lot of attention. But to the listeners here, if there's a region that you might be from or you want to champion, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Damo here. Damo, feel free to jump in on some of the things that we're working with on our community manager, just our community channels right now. I know it's something that is still relatively under wraps. The campaigns will probably come out in the next 2 or 3 weeks, but at this stage, you can probably offer a little teaser.
Hi, yeah, that sounds good. So we'll do a slight teaser of something that we're thinking about. And it's essentially it's like a sponsorship program where we're thinking about potentially sponsoring some traders that apply through the program, where we fund them with a certain amount via their Drift account. And then we just have those traders publicize the trades they make, and ideally try to do like a 10K to a million challenge, or whatever it is to whatever it is. Overall, really just trying to, I guess, get a bit more exposure and publicize retail trades a bit more. The other thing is for our community managers, we're really looking to actively expand into those new regions. So if anyone is available, or if anyone has an interest in helping us grow that area, like, please reach out to me. We're also looking for official translators for our content as well. We're trying to expand some of our content from beyond just English to Chinese, to Vietnamese, to Korean, and to whatever other region that you guys may be from. So definitely send me a message for that as well.
Awesome. I think we've covered a fair bit. Also, experimenting with the hours. I know that this hour is sort of squarely within SGT, ADT down under, but for those who are in the States, it's likely quite late. So one thing that we are experimenting with is the time zone. So if this is a little bit too late for you, please do let us know alongside what times might make more sense. I think we've typically explored sort of two ends of the extreme. It's either midnight Australia time or midday Australia time, just to try and capture the rest of the globe. We are recording this, so if you or someone only caught part of the conversation or missed it entirely, the recording should be available in due course. I guess other than that, I think we can probably wrap up at this point, unless anyone has any final questions at this stage. We've sort of taken us up to the 45-minute mark right now. Nope, going once, going twice. Wonderful. Well, in that case, everyone, thanks again for tuning in. We really appreciate all your support as always. And to the traders here, keep cranking the volume. The numbers do show, and it really is appreciated for how we're scaling. And to the supporters and our users giving feedback, keep it coming. We definitely learn the most from the comments that you send our way. So the more you say, the better it is, as we can get a better insight as for what you all want. And don't ever feel like you're saying too much. We do have a dedicated person, not even a dedicated person, it's more self-imposed than anything else, that he sort of makes it his own mission to go through all pieces of feedback. So for those who are listening and have commented on Kenny, odds are Luke has responded to one of your posts, if not multiple. So with that, we'll end on this note. Thanks again, everyone. And we look forward to hosting you on our next AMA, which I believe will be announcing very shortly in conjunction with another protocol on Solana that's launched mainnet just a couple of days ago. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
See you guys.